keep bumping this microphone.
Someone please help.
Hello everybody, and welcome to the very first review on this channel. I don't know if this is going to be a review or me just talking about this book, but that's what this is. I'm still getting used to this. I just recently got this microphone. I'm not used to it yet. I'm so used to this snowball back here that stopped working on me. Hate this thing. No, I don't hate it, but what a weird design for a microphone. Anyway, y'all clearly know what you're here for, and it's a review or me talking about this book here, Devolution by Max Brooks. This book was one that I had no idea was a thing, because I remember when what am I talking about? World War Z came was a big thing. I remember checking it out from the library. Never really read it. I found like I was pretty young because it was around the zombie craze when like The Walking Dead was starting to become a big thing. So I was like, oh, I'll check it out. And I kind of got bored, but I was also, again, pretty young. And now I can appreciate more of the different kind of styles of writing and stuff. Not just, middle grade, young adult stuff. This book is a book about Sasquatches, more or less. I say more or less because I will tell you in a second. So this follows a very similar style. One thing I find intriguing, like I said, I've never read World War Z, but I kind of want to. From what I know, it's kind of told from different stories being told from people after the apocalypse happened, I believe. But this one is told in a similar way, but it's mainly told through interviews and the journal of this girl who was in this crazy event. So to set up the story, it follows the main character, Kate Holland, as she moves to this new community. It's kind of like a community that's pretty self-sufficient. They're in the middle of the woods. There's a whole bunch of stuff on that as they're trying to live, survive, and then this volcanic eruption happens, and they get kind of cut off from the rest of the world. So a good chunk of the book is them surviving, and then there's some Sasquatch-ery thrown in, and a lot of the criticism I've seen of this book is because is due to the fact that there isn't a lot of that. It's a lot of the characters surviving, and if you don't like the characters, you don't really care. Fun fact, I've read the book, but I actually listened to it. I own it. I'm somebody who I'll go buy a book and then I'll read it and listen to it. However, I ended up listening to this entire book in basically a day, because it's one of those that I think a lot of the reviews on Audible will say that the main character's voice is annoying, and they didn't really like the audiobook that much. But personally, I can see the audiobook being a better way to go about reading this, mainly because, one, Nathan Fillion is one of the readers. He's not in it that much, so I don't want to get your hopes up, but he's in it. Fucking great. The main character's voice it can be obnoxious at first, but it goes away within a chapter or two, personally, I thought anyway. And it's very short. It's like an 8-hour audiobook. It's a very short book, but boy, it is amazing, especially when you get into the interviews and they sound, and they're not read to you, they're performed like an interview, which makes it great. As far as the main character, I never found her to be that annoying. I found a lot of the side characters to be interesting enough that I was intrigued enough to finish. And I think because it's short enough, it has a decent pace, and doesn't kind of bog down too much. You're always kind of interested, especially when they start to see sightings of weird things. And you're like, oh, if you know any Sasquatch lore, you're like, I know what that is. Run the away. Since it is so short, it's definitely a fast read. So if you're a fast reader, you'll probably fly through this super quick. And I can see where people fault this, but I think it's because I tend to try to avoid reviews of stuff before I go in. Sometimes I'll just check a Goodread ratings when I find a book, and if it's below 3, I'm like, eh. But it's almost a 4 on Goodreads, so I was like, I'll check it out. And I think because I went in after reading a few reviews, because I bought it and it took me a minute to get to it. I had a lot lower expectations. So if you go into it with low expectations, expecting a Sasquatch book, you're going to enjoy it, especially if you're an enjoyer of Sasquatch things. If you're not, and you like something more like World War Z, you're probably not going to enjoy it as much. But the writing style I found to be very, very intriguing. And it's a very solid book to start the year off. It actually kind of creeped me out. I listened to the last 2 hours of it while laying in bed, because I was like, I got to finish this book. It's I know I work at 7 o'clock in the morning, but it's 2 o'clock and I got to finish this kind of thing. But then you kind of are creeped out because there's a lot of weirdness to this book, but it is still a very straightforward Sasquatch attacks place kind of story. But there's more to it than that. and I loved it. If you're looking for a good Sasquatch book, I didn't really know that there's not really that many that I can find. And I was like, Max Brooks is a pretty popular, like a pretty famous, not famous, but like World War Z was pretty popular. So I was like, oh, Sasquatch, I'll check it out. The ending, people are probably wondering, what's the ending like? Is it good? I love the ending. I feel like it could be divisive. It leaves a lot of questions, but it's questions that are fun to think about. And it makes it feel almost in a lot of ways, I was like, is this not a true story? It'd be kind of sick if it was. And no one really 100% knows for sure what ended up happening. But that sometimes you don't, an open-ended ending is what you need. And this book definitely has a good ending. There's an ending, there's like two endings. There's like the ending and then the ending. And the ending leaves a lot of questions, and you're like, but I want to know more. But then you also don't, because it wouldn't be as fun that way. I'm going to rate Devolution as a go check out if you are interested at all in cryptids, anything like that. I know I am. Makes you definitely not really want to go out in the woods by yourself. But yeah, there you go. That's my review of Devolution. Talk about Devolution. Go check it out. I'm trying not to spoil anything, but just go read it if you really are interested. If not, well, if you're not interested, I mean, of course, don't read it. But if you are, check it out. Anyways, that's all I have to say about it. See you all later in the next video.